Hi everyone, welcome back to Read and Roam. I'm Bee, and I'm still exploring the nature park. I've been spotting those migrating butterflies everywhere, and I keep finding more signs with cool facts. Since they're full of informational text, I can't miss this opportunity to teach you more about main ideas. Oh, there's another sign. Let's check it out. So in the last video, we learned about two terms, topic and main idea. What do you remember about topic? The topic of a text is a word or term that tells us what the text is generally about. What about the main idea? The main idea of a text is the most important idea or point the author wants the reader to know. Last time, we learned that the main idea helps us understand what a text is really about. Sometimes we have to figure out the main idea by looking for details in the text. Other times, the authors tell us the main idea in one clear sentence, right there in the text, which is called a stated main idea. This will be our focus today. A stated main idea is a sentence in the text that contains both the topic and the author's most important point about the topic. It's like the author is taking the time to tell us exactly what they want us to know without us having to find the main idea by ourselves. So, how do you find the stated main idea? Let's look at this sign and I'll walk you through it. The first step to finding the stated main idea is to read the text. The title of this text says, Wetlands, Nature's Cleanup Crew. Now let's read. Did you know that wetlands are more than just a home to animals and plants? They also help keep the environment clean. Wetlands can act like a sponge, soaking up rainwater to prevent flooding. They also filter dirty water, making it cleaner before it flows into rivers and streams. Wetlands keep nature clean and healthy for all living things. Now that we've read the text, the next step is to figure out the topic. What do you think this text is generally about? I can tell from the title that it's about wetlands. Now that we know the topic, we need to look for a sentence that mentions both wetlands and the author's main point. While we're looking for the stated main idea, we also need to keep in mind that the sentence has to make sense on its own. That means if we were to pluck it out of the text to show someone, they would know the topic and main idea without needing any other information. For instance, the sentence, "They also help keep the environment clean," couldn't be the stated main idea because the word they is used instead of wetlands. If you were just reading this sentence by itself, you wouldn't know the topic. So let's look for sentences that specifically mention wetlands. I see 3 sentences in this text that mention wetlands. Here, here, and here. First of all, the stated main idea will be a statement, not a question. So we can take this sentence out of the running. Since both of these sentences say the topic, we now have to ask ourselves, what is the most important thing the author wants me to learn from this? Last time, I mentioned that we could also ask ourselves, so what about the topic? So what about wetlands? Is it that wetlands act like sponges soaking up rainwater to prevent flooding? Or that wetlands keep nature clean and healthy for all living things? Both sentences are true, but which one gives us the big picture? Preventing floods is just one way wetlands help the environment. But this sentence about keeping nature clean and healthy tells us why wetlands matter overall. That's why it's the stated main idea. Oh, there's another sign we can practice with. This time, we'll read this text together, and then you'll pause to find the stated main idea. Remember, it's okay if you don't get it right on the first try. That's why I'm here to walk you through it after you give it a shot. Let's go ahead and read this one. Owls have many adaptations that help them survive in the wild. Their long talons and sharp beaks help them catch and eat prey like mice and insects. They also have soft feathers that help them fly silently. Some owls can even turn their heads almost all the way around to look for danger. Now that we've read the text, it's your turn to find the stated main idea. Here's a reminder of what we've learned to help you find it. Go ahead and pause now while you find the stated main idea. In this text, the stated main idea is the first sentence. Owls have many adaptations that help them survive in the wild. It's the only sentence that has the topic and main point stated, and it makes sense when read by itself. Great work! Did you notice how the stated main idea was the first sentence of this text? But in the wetlands text, it was the last sentence. That's because most often, stated main ideas will be in the first or last sentences, but that's not always the case. Stated main ideas can be anywhere in a text. Remember that even if you think you can spot the stated main idea in the first or last sentence, it's still important to read all of the text. Sometimes, important details might point to a different sentence being the main idea. Okay, so today we learned that the stated main idea is a sentence in the text that contains both the topic and the author's most important point. We also learned that to find the stated main idea, we read the text, decide on the topic, then look for the sentence that mentions both the topic and the author's main point. Finding the main idea can make it much easier to understand what the author wants you to know. Next time, I'll find some text to teach you about all the other details in a text. Who knows? Maybe I'll find some new texts without going too far. Next time you're out and about, see if you can spot some text with a stated main idea. Remember, where there are words, there's a world to explore. I'll see you next time.